Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Bronwyn Drake, the one half of Luna Makes, and today I wanted to take you guys through my process of shooting self-portraits and showing you guys how to do the same thing. So I have made a video about self-portraits before on my personal account, and I was actually thinking I'm going to recreate the tiny apartment like self-portrait challenge that I did there because I have moved since then. So that could be a nice way to challenge myself again. But today I just set up studio lights that I'm borrowing from a friend during lockdown. I desperately needed to practice with studio lights again and just get back into it. I actually started shooting self-portraits in studio, so it was sort of weird to be taken back to that. Usually my self-portraits are fine art nudes, but this time around I kept it a little bit more covered, just for the sake of showing you guys how I do it. So I have been feeling slightly lately, so that will definitely translate in my photos. My self-portraits are all about capturing my emotions at a certain point, sort of like a visual journal, if that makes sense. So I can go back on images that I've taken, and it really does serve as this memory of what I was feeling at that time. So these seem slightly up and down if I look at them, but yeah, I'll show you guys some of the photos that I took and the process of doing that. I just set up one light, simple light setup, and yeah, we have like plain white blinds that I used as a backdrop. I will definitely be doing more natural light self-portraits because I do prefer them. I don't know, I felt like a fish out of water for quite like the first couple of minutes of this whole experiment. So let me know what you guys think, if you prefer my natural light self-portraits or the studio ones. My tips for shooting self-portraits. So self-portraits to me are very personal. I'm always extremely vulnerable in them. I put all my emotions into it. But in the beginning I was just teaching myself how to pose, how to feel, how to move in front of a camera and not feel awkward, and just allow myself to be completely raw and vulnerable to create this piece of art. So it is scary at first and you will need to get into it, especially if this is something that you're going to be doing regularly. But a lot of times these self-portraits could just be really pretty selfies. They don't have to have a deeper meaning. They don't need to be anything other than what it is, just a beautiful photograph of you. So I shoot on a D610 when I'm not shooting on my cell phone that also just has a self timer, so you can really shoot on anything that has a self timer. I shoot using the interval timer setting. I always revert back to double exposures just because I love it so much. So I will show you guys some of those that I did. As I mentioned in my previous video, I have done a double exposure video on my personal account, so I will pop that in the description box below. Okay, some tips for posing. So find your good side, just stare at yourself in the mirror and find which side of your face you like the most. I really enjoy using movements, so hair and hands, flipping my hair around, you'll see I do that a lot, and then literally just like moving my body every time the camera clicks, just to try and get, even if it's just like a slight movement, it usually does, like sometimes I'll like one a lot more than when my hand was 2 centimeters away. Create angles with your body. It always helps to pull your limbs away from your torso. Create triangles and weird shapes with your body. It just makes it all a bit more artistic, I suppose. Separating your lips slightly and putting your tongue against your palate. I don't know who figured this one out, but it really does make a difference. And then also moving your head slightly forward, not enough that you look like a chicken, but just look slightly forward also just helps. I really love doing faceless things as well, especially if I'm doing nudes. So I'll always have hands in front of my face, or hair, or clothes, or freaking something just to add that dimension to it as well. Creating curves with your body is another one that really helps. So if you're sitting on a chair, just pushing your bum slightly to the side and your body slightly to the opposite side just creates that nice little zhuzh that looks so great in photos when you're standing as well. You can push your hip out to one side as well. This all just helps creating those angles and lines and shapes that just make the images more interesting. Another important thing to remember when shooting self-portraits is your outfits or clothes and backdrop and location and all of those things. So make sure that it all flows together. I try and have an idea in my head before I actually set out to shoot. What do I want it to look like? What am I feeling? I write all of these things down and I come up with a game plan. So I knew for this one I just wanted plain white background. I didn't want anything else in frame. I had a chair that I was sitting on, but that was sort of besides the point. And then clothing, just try and keep it as simple or as crazy as you want, but just make sure that it all fits in with each other. Okay guys, that's it for today. Leave a comment down below, let me know which images you like the most, and if you do try any of these tips, especially from the double exposure video, please tag Luna Makes so we can see what you guys have been up to, and I'll see you next time.